crucial to us here in this part of the world because we are individuals inhabiting a society where energy potentials little about, but energy poverty deepens due to a mismanagement of resources. Across the world, our counterparts strive due to sustainable energy access, but the lack of affordable and reliable energy leaves us disadvantaged while we strive to achieve our goals. For us, I believe there's a need for a good energy mix and a strategic balance in the energy ecosystem. It's about ensuring energy security, energy equity, and energy sustainability. And definitely by the end of this program, our speakers would have done justice to the topic while leaving us with an overdose of impact. Finally, we thank those that made the event successful, to all the planners, and we urge us all to put away every distraction that may hinder us from making the best out of this event. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Justice. That was a very powerful one. Thank you so much. I'm really impressed. Okay, so now I'm going to introduce the moderator for today's event. Our moderator for today's event is a first-class graduate of petroleum engineering from the Federal University of Technology, Owerri. He is a petroleum engineer at Cyber Crescent and works with the Integrated Asset Management Division. He's also the co-founder for the Excel Energy Professionals Community, a global learning community of students and professionals in the energy industry. He's also a Microsoft Excel instructor and has lectured senior energy professionals in 2 SPE conferences. He lectures postgraduate students too in renowned universities like the IPS and what have you, undergraduate students across Nigeria, and the global learning communities. So aside work, Gerard is an active volunteer and a member of the Society of Petroleum Engineers. And he's also the assistant ALP team lead. So he's my co-chair or my co-team lead for this ALP committee. So a virtual round of applause as we introduce our moderator for today, Gerard Ihe Dionye. I hope I pronounced that well. So Gerard, you're welcome. Thank you for doing us the honor of being our moderator for today. And let's welcome Gerard as he takes over from me. Thank you very much. Sit tight. And I wish you a successful event. And I hope that we all learn something today and go back with, and also, have stories and wonderful experiences to share. Thank you very much. Gerard, you have the floor.
Okay, thank you very much, Owari, for that very lovely introduction. Thank you so much. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's a pleasure to be here moderating this session. It's a very important session. So, of course, as my ALP mama, Owari said at the start, when she was giving her welcome address, there has been quite a lot of buzz around the energy transition. Of course, the giants are transitioning into renewables, trying to look at how they can play a part in providing clean and affordable sources of energy, making energy sustainable, and also supporting the world's energy demands. So I know a lot of us, both students and young professionals, have usually been worried. Of course, most of us have studied or are currently studying courses that are tied to the oil and gas industry, petroleum engineering, geophysics, and all that, and what have you. And we have been concerned about how we can, of course, play part in the energy transition, how we can be part of the energy industry, how you can transfer your skill sets, your degree, the technical knowledge you've been able to assimilate so far, and move that into the energy space or into the energy transition. And today I would be having two wonderful lecturers who would address that issue. And of course, we have brought two different kinds of experienced individuals to address two different key perspectives, one from the employer side and one from the entrepreneurial side. So I believe there will be a lot for us to learn today. I have gone through what the presenters have in store for you, and I know that you would have a lot to learn today. So I urge you to sit back, relax, and enjoy. But before we go into today's presentations, I would just like to quickly go through the safety brief. Of course, safety is very much paramount, and we should be always safety conscious, even in meetings like this. So for those of us who are joined in, wherever you are, please make sure you obey all safety rules and regulations that apply to any environment you might be currently located. Also, if you are driving currently on the road, you can switch to the driver mode on the Zoom app so you can seamlessly listen to our session. And then just to ensure that meeting etiquettes are followed through appropriately. If you are not speaking, I would advise that you please mute your mic so we do not have any disturbances. If you have questions or comments, please feel free to drop them in the chat box. Or I would also have sessions where you can ask your questions after the presentations. So you can also raise your hand at those points, and we would attend to you, or we would call you out to speak. But once you are not speaking, please mute your mic. If you also have your headsets or your earpieces, you can also make use of that so you can avoid distractions in the environment and clearly hear all the important things that will be said in the two presentations we have for you today. So on that note, without wasting further time, I would like to go ahead to introduce our first speaker for today. So her name is Isioma Okolo. She is a reservoir engineer with Shell Petroleum Development Company in Nigeria. She holds a Bachelor of Engineering degree in Petroleum Engineering and a master. That's from the Federal University of Technology, Owerri. So she's my senior actually, and a master's in business administration with distinction from the Edinburgh Business School here at Owerri University. She has worked as a consultant with PwC, that's PricewaterhouseCoopers, and is a Society of Petroleum Engineering certified engineer. She speaks creativity, and she's a hyperrealism artist who majors in graphite portrait works, a fashionista, fitness enthusiast, and an amateur photographer who enjoys listening to music. Wow. She is also a mentor to female students in some Nigerian universities and very intentional about personal development. So I believe if there are any of you who would like to be a mentee of Isioma, you should be able to reach out to her. I'm sure she'll be glad to take you on. So on that note, I would like to welcome Isioma Okolo, and I just hand over to you to go ahead and make your presentation. Thank you.
All right. Can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear.
And can you also see me? Just to confirm that you're going to be sharing the slides from your end.
So I can't see because I'm sharing my screen. Sorry. Well, I think someone else can confirm.
Yeah, but can you share the slides from your end?
Yes, I can.
Yes, please. Let's go. Okay. All right, then. I think we have about 25 participants on the call. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to today's conversation on the role of potential engineers in energy sustainability. So let's look at the agenda. We'll be talking about the next slide. Okay, why sustainability, and also some sustainability development initiatives, and our roles as engineers and potential engineers. And also, we'll also give a description on an example called waste to energy. So WTE means waste to energy. That's one of the sustainability initiatives. And we'll have a Q&A session. Okay, so the next slide. So why sustainability? Population is expected to continue to increase, except there's some sort of disruption, right? Maybe there's an earthquake or a pandemic that is going to wipe out a lot of people. but the population is expected to increase at about 1.1% per annum. This is because as human beings, we're designed to procreate, right? So as we increase in population, we would also need to consume a lot of goods and services. So the more people you have in the room, the more food they want to eat, the more clothes they want to wear. So increase in population is definitely going to impact consumption. So it means if the population is increasing, consumption is definitely going to increase. And if consumption is increasing, it means that the factories would need energy to produce these goods and services. Maybe then we'll be driving electric cars and, different sort of appliances. But in summary, the more people Hello.
Okay,
I think there was
we lost you there for some seconds. Hello, Ishima, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. There was a glitch from my end. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you loud and clear now.
Okay, fantastic. So I view sustainability from two perspectives, right? The need for fuel diversification. So fuel diversification is because we're relying solely on fossil fuel, which is like the major source of energy in the world. There's a need for us to look out for other sources of energy, right? So the drive for sustainability is from either one, very, very conscious of the environment. So we are at this point in the industry where we are looking for cleaner sources of energy, and not just cleaner sources, but also sustainable. So things that, when you take out of them, the resources will not be depleted. So for example, you can't quantify air. You can only say, oh, I'm breathing air, but you can't say, oh, this is the quantity of air in the world. So air will never be depleted. Water, to a large extent, will never be depleted. So the energy industry is on that path to say, we want fuel diversification. We also want sources of energy that are cleaner and sustainable so that we don't impact the environment. So there's this body called the Paris Agreement. And Paris Agreement is like a community looking out for the world. So we want to ensure that global warming is not above 2 degrees. So for example, when you burn fossil fuel or when you're producing fossil fuel, there's a high tendency that you would emit greenhouse gases. CO2 is one of them, and that can cause global warming. So the Paris Agreement has different countries, different companies coming together to say, hey, we are very intentional about protecting the environment. We want a situation where these sources of energies are sustainable, they are cleaner, and we can also fund these initiatives. So they are very intentional about driving sustainability, looking out for cleaner sources of energy, and ensuring that, to a large extent, the industry is also compliant. Okay, so let's talk about, let's drive sustainability to our houses. What do we know about sustainability? So we're going to play a quick game, and there's a gift to be won, actually. So if you can turn on your camera, and it's going to be a 2-minute game. So I don't know if we're ready for it. So I just want to make sure that everyone is ready. So we'll start in the next 2 minutes. So the game is, I want us to pick items in our houses that are sustainable. And if you do not really have those items and you're not logging on from your house, it's fine. So what you can do is you can either turn on your camera or mute and give me like examples of sustainable items in your houses. And the highest number of items is definitely going to win a prize. So the time starts, this is 12:23, the time starts now. So let's do this. Let's talk about sustainability, sustainable items in our houses. So who is going to go first? I think we have 27 participants on the call, so that should. Don't forget that there's a gift to be won. So you don't want me to take back, so you don't want SPE to take back the gift. Well, the coordinators are not going to participate. I am not going to participate. So let's just leave for all the participants. If you are a student, fantastic. I think that would be a good avenue for you to win a prize. So just unmute and tell me, give me examples of sustainable items in the house. So the idea is we want to be understanding of what sustainability is, right? So sustainability, just the ability for you to maintain, just if you think an item is not going to be depleted or you can reuse it for a very long time, then that's quite sustainable. So let's see, do we have any comments?
Good afternoon.
Hi,
Yeah.
good afternoon.
Yeah, thank you very much. I have a battery. I have a battery here for the solar. So I think the battery is sustainable.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's a solar battery. It's an inverter, and also a solar panel.
Okay.
I'm still looking for more though, but.
Okay. Okay. So do we have?
That's you need to see. Did you turn on your video? Let's see that solar panel.
Solar panel is upstairs. Okay, let me show you the battery.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so while that is coming up, do we have another person that wants to? So even if you're not comfortable turning on your video, you can unmute your mic and just share examples. So the idea of this game is for us to learn and drive sustainability for our houses as much as we can, right? So we can all understand to a large extent, oh, what does sustainability mean? Is this sustainable? Should I keep doing this? Am I contributing to the energy industry? Oh, yes, please. Do we have another participant? There's a prize to be won, and we just have 1 more minute.
Look at my inverter. Look at my battery.
Please, am I to join?
Yeah, you can, of course.
Oh, no. Patrick is a sustainability.
He's a lie.
No, Patrick. Oh, my goodness, Patrick, no way. You're not doing this.
Is this? Well, I hope you can see it. I'm showing you.
Oh, yes, I can. I can.
Thank you.
Favor, do you want to show us something?
Yeah, I think Favor turned on his.
I just joined the meeting.
Favor, can you hear us? It's breaking. Do you have something you want to show us on sustainability?
I just joined now, so I didn't know what you're about.
Okay. You can please go on here, please. Just follow the session, you'll understand. We are playing a game at the moment.
All right.
Okay. Oh, yes, please go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah, I can hear you.
An air conditioner.
Okay, so what else? I think I had like a vacuum cleaner.
Yes, a vacuum cleaner. I don't know how to like camera.
Okay, does it work
Then
on solar? Does it work on?
Sorry?
Okay, does it work on solar? Is it solar powered or is it what's it called now? Is it what's this PHEDC that powers it for you or
You.
And the materials that it is made up of? Is it made up of plastic? Are the materials renewable materials? Or it's just, you know, the typical vacuum cleaner that is made up of that has like an electrical component and the plastic component?
I think it's a normal vacuum cleaner.
Okay, I understand. Okay, I understand. So I see Deborah and Daniel. So Deborah, do you want to go? Then also Daniel, I think they have their hands raised up. So would you comment from them before we proceed?
I can't share my camera, but I have a wooden chair, like a dining table, and I know wood is a sustainable material, so I think that's like a good example.
Okay, what else?
I have sand compound.
Okay, you have what?
Sand and stone to my compound, and that's sustainable material also.
Okay, no.
Thank you.
Daniel.
I also have a solar street light outside.
Oh, I think there's a strong competition between Debbie and the interested.
That's you ain't the one that did that one. Street light.
Yeah, so I have a solar missing outside. I'm just seeing new sustainable materials.
That's good.
Okay, that's interesting. So we'll just take the last comment from Daniel, and the winner of this quiz is going to be contacted after the presentation. So Daniel, you have the floor. I think Daniel had his hands up.
Yeah, good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon, Daniel.
I have a light bulb that runs with solar. A light bulb that runs with solar.
Okay, what else?
Just that. Yeah, just that for now.
So I'm not going to announce the winner. The winner will be announced, will be contacted after the presentation.
Please,
okay,
Justus is on the chat. Sorry to interrupt. Justus, do you want to come off mute and speak?
Yes, I would like to.
Go ahead.
Okay.
So I need to turn on my video, right? Hey.
Yes, sure.
That's fine. Oh, okay.
Okay, so firstly, I have
I don't know if yes I can.
Okay, but I cannot see myself. Okay, so I can see myself now. So I have an electric cooker or stove. So this is it. Okay. Can you see it? This the charger and the plug to the socket. And this, then I also have a fridge. Let me turn the camera. So this is my fridge.
Okay.
So I have a laptop. I'm using the laptop. I also have a phone.
Okay.
I also have my rechargeable lamp. It's charging somewhere, but I have a rechargeable lamp. I use at night, and I think that's all I can recall.
Okay, that's fine.
I want to add.
So the winner, and that brings us to the next slide. So if we can, move to the next slide, we'll talk about some sustainability development initiatives, right? Justin, I totally understand that a typical a laptop, yes, those are items, but the game is sustainable items that can be reused over time, or the materials that were used to produce those items are reusable, apologies, or they are sustainable in the sense that they cannot either be depleted or you can use them over and over again. And when you take out those parts, they don't cause harm to the environment. Now let's talk about some sustainability development initiatives. A typical example is wind energy. And so like we said, wind is not going to be depleted for a very long time, right? So you then have a system where the wind hits the blade. So when the blade starts rotating, it then converts that rotational energy, right, to electrical energy using some appliances. And that is how it functions in summary. We were not going to go into details, right? But then wind energy is quite sustainable because you always have wind, you always have air. In fact, I think if air is depleted, then we will not be existing in the world. You see what I mean? Then solar, I think it was Daniel that talked about like a solar panel, right? So you're getting that source of energy from the sun. And then with the help of an inverter, you're converting that direct energy from the sun rays to an AC, that's alternating current. And you know our appliances would need an AC, right? That's alternating current for us to be able to use that. Sun is not going to be depleted. It's a gift from God, right? So it is very sustainable. Then waste to energy. You know how you have different types of waste from your houses? We can then segregate those wastes, put them in different buckets, and then burn these wastes, convert it into energy. The thing about waste to energy is that you also do not want to fall back to the concept of a fossil fuel where there's pollution. So you have to be intentional about capturing the gases that comes out from the waste so that you don't pollute the environment. Yes, it is sustainable because we'll end up, maybe eating more food, using some appliances, and we'll have to throw away maybe like the packets or the containers and all that, right? We then burn this waste, convert them to energy. But we have to be very careful about waste to energy in the sense that when you are then burning those waste and converting it into energy, you do not want to pollute the environment. Another initiative is tree planting. So trees have these superpowers where they absorb CO2. So when they absorb CO2, they can then release oxygen into the environment. I call them natural air purifiers because CO2 is one of the greenhouse gases, right, that can cause global warming. So if you then have trees or if you have forests, they help you to sort of absorb that CO2, release oxygen into the atmosphere, and they sort of, clean the environment for us, the air to be precise. Another technology another initiative is carbon capture and storage. You see, when we produce fossil fuel, there's a high tendency that, gases will be emitted. And like we said, CO2 is one of the greenhouse gases that can cause global warming. So this technology is then going to help us capture the CO2 emitted, during, and not just when we're producing fossil fuel, but then from cars, from industries, when you have just anything that can into the atmosphere, carbon capture and storage, that's CCS in summary, is going to capture CO2 and store it in the space.
Another perspective. Just to cut in, just to remind you, you have about 3 minutes more.
Okay,
to wrap up.
fine.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. So another initiative quickly is the green hydrogen usage. So we have the blue hydrogen, we have the green hydrogen, but the green hydrogen is very sustainable in the sense that you're passing electric current, into the water, and water is H2O, right? So that hydrogen from the water is then used as energy. So quickly, the next slide. Let's talk about why we are here. So looking at the oil and gas industry, either you're, undertaking or you're partaking in a project, or you are doing a particular task, right? But in summary, you're either doing like a project-based work or doing an activity-based work. Look at it from the perspective of a project that is going to be deployed. Let's say a wind energy or a waste to energy. It's project-based, right? From the project initiation, that is where the idea is generated, the project is defined. You need to have conversations with who your customers would be, the people that are going to fund the project. And you would need some skills, like your project management skill, machine learning, and AI, because machine learning would then tell you, oh, this is how the customers behave, this is what they use their energies to do, and these are the gaps, right? So in the initiation stage, you have certain skills that you would need, but these skills, to a large extent, cut across all stages of a project. Now, I know that we have a lot of students, and as a student, trust me, I did not really have that clarity on how the courses I did in school would translate into a skill that is then going to help me, become an engineer in the industry. So for example, if I'm going to do like machine learning, one of the competencies I would need is engineering mathematics, or engineering in society, or science and technology in society. Because if you're not competent in these areas, you would then struggle with either your problem solving skill, or if you want to do like data analytics. Do you get what I mean? So the idea of this slide is for us to step back a bit and realize that some of the courses that we're actually being taught in school are very valuable. And that is what would translate into skills that we would need. And these skills, to a large extent, cut across different types of initiative you'd see, whether it is CCS, whether it is green hydrogen. So for example, I work as a reservoir engineer, right? If I were to be deployed if I were to do like a CCS project, what competencies would I need? Engineering, mathematics, understanding of physics and chemistry, because I would want to understand how CO2 would behave in the subsurface, right? And if my foundation is not strong, it's not easy, I would struggle to partake in that particular project. Understanding that some of the competencies that you're acquiring now as a student is definitely going to play a major role. And it cuts across all the different energy industry initiatives. It may not be so technical, but once you have that foundation, it becomes very easy for you to just build on it. If we go to the next slide, I know I have like 2 minutes or so. If we go to the next slide, that's the waste to energy. So if you're going to partake in a waste to energy sort of initiative, you do like research to understand, okay, what type of waste and how am I going to, burn this waste to be able to get like the energy out of it. How will I do that? That's your concept identification. Then you develop the system. The technical system is, what sort of material do I need to convert this waste? Then project management encompasses everything, because you're looking at your human resources and you're looking at the hardware and you're looking at, in fact, all soft skills and everything that a typical project will need. Now, for the skills you would need for a waste to energy, analytical skill is mandatory. Negotiation skill, also very key. You want to be able to bring this concept to life to say, oh, what materials do I need? What customers do I need? How do I communicate with them? How do I even negotiate with the people that are going to fund this project, right? But then as students, what does that mean for you? It means that you need to be competent in the foundation. And the foundation is what you're learning now. Those are the things that you need to focus on. Yes, so to a large extent, if we're not careful, we might be overwhelmed with the ideas that we have on ground, and there's nothing wrong with that. But always have it at the back of your mind that you have like the value that you're putting on the table. And once the foundation is strong, you just need a little bit of coaching and flexibility for you to adapt. So for example, waste to energy, engineering survey, strength of materials, engineering economics, these are things that are going to translate into the skills that are identified here for you to be able to perform these roles. And I know I have 1 minute, but in conclusion, I really don't want us to, in as much as we're aware of these initiatives, I want us to always pay attention to the fundamentals, because an engineer will always be an engineer to a large extent, right? Once your foundation is solid, you can always build on it. You just need a little bit of training on the idea. And the good thing about being an engineer is that because you understand the fundamentals, you can easily trace where the problems are, if project is going to be doable or not. So in summary, please pay attention to the fundamentals of whatever you're being taught in school, because that is definitely going to translate into the skills that you would need for your roles in the future. Thank you. So over to you, Gerald.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you very much for that very wonderful presentation. Can we have a virtual round of applause for Isioma for that very enlightening session? I believe we've all learned a few new things today as regarding the subject. We looked at the history of the sustainable energy movement, of course, did an introduction to what sustainable energy is. Then she also took us through the examples here of sustainable energy, and then the roles, skills, and competencies required by engineers to partake actively in this energy transition. And of course, we had that very lovely game, which she actually thought about and decided to allow us partake in, which I believe a lot of us enjoyed. So on that note, thank you very much, Isioma, once again for that wonderful presentation. And if there are any questions, I know we might have questions from maybe on some of the things she just talked about. So if you have any questions or you require any clarifications, now's the time. Just raise your hand and I'll call you to speak, or you can drop your questions in the chat box and I'll read them out to Isioma and she'll provide answers to that. So I can see we have hands up. So let me see. Okay, I see Daniel T.Y. I believe you have a question. Please go ahead and unmute your mic and ask your question, Daniel.
Thank you very much. Because my question goes this way. When you talk about skills, and one interesting one is the negotiation skills. Please, I would love you to throw more light on what the negotiation skills looks like, not like definition, man, sure, understand, like inner, deeper, what negotiation skills looks like. That's first question. The second one is, you said something about energy survey, engineering materials, all those courses we were taught. Sincerely, I'm just hearing that all those courses and their fundamentals would translate to be one of those skills. You said something like that. So I would love you to explain what you meant by those words, so I will know if I should go back and get my engineering materials notes, start reading and all the rest. So yeah, that's just the two questions I have. Thank you very much.
Daniel, do you want to stay on the call? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, ma'am.
Okay, so if I told you that during conversation, turn on your camera so that I can have like a better understanding, or maybe see like your facial expressions, would you want to do that so that we can then bond further? Do you think that's a good idea for you to?
As I would love to, because I'm not in a favorable environment, ma'am.
But I do, right?
Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
That's part of negotiation. The thing or the skill is that you do not want to, or you will not be able to deploy initiatives on your own. You would need to sell the value to either people that are going to fund the initiative or people that are going to deploy the initiative. So let's say you have an initiative and you are the owner of the initiative. You are then going to manage people, but you do not have the funding. Your negotiation skill is going to help manage the money for the project, because you're going to tell them, this is the value, this is what you're putting on the table, this is the money that you would make, going forward. That act of convincing them on the value is negotiation skill.
I love that.
I don't know if that's clear.
Yeah, very well, ma. Thank you. Thank you for clarification.
So on engineering materials, I know you said you want to go back to. Yes, the good thing about the interesting thing about the energy industry is that you would need the foundation all the way, and by foundation in engineering. So for materials, you want to be able to understand the strength of the material to build a bridge, or the type of material that you would need, the intensity on when it goes through heat. If you're going to mold, is it malleable or not? If you're going to mold those materials, can you use them to implement or execute your project? And that is why I said engineering materials. For survey, if you're going to build a particular structure, is that structure solid enough for you to be able to, build an industry or a factory out of it? You see what I mean? And that's why I keep saying that some of these courses, and if you want to go back and look at your notes, please do. Because when you then come into the industry, it's just a build-up of whatever you've been taught. And because you know that foundation, it's easy for you to come up with ideas, right? And also for you to challenge ideas, to tell your team members that, you know what, this is not going to work. The materials we have are not proper for this project. Or based on, the survey, what I think would work on this particular part. See what I mean?
Yes.
And then you having those conversations with your team members, telling them, leave these materials, this is the value, or telling people that are going to fund your project, this is the money we would need going forward, is how you deploy your negotiation skill. I don't know if you can. I hope I have not gone off.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, thank you very much, Isioma, for that wonderful answer. I hope you've been able to address Daniel's question. So because of time, we'll take one or two more questions. I can see a question on the chat box from Chidima Udweni. Chidima is asking, what's the difference between skills and competencies in this example? I think, I don't know what particular example she's referring to, maybe the example you talked about in your, I think that was the third to the last slide. If you'd like to address that, or if you're not clear with the question, can Chidima unmute and just clarify that?
Yeah, I've been clarified already. You don't have to answer the question. Thank you.
Oh, okay. All right. Thank you very much. Okay, so we'll just take the final question from Justice. I can see your hand raised. Justice, please go ahead and unmute and ask your question.
All right, thank you very much. Okay, so I wanted to ask, okay, firstly, there's been a lot of conversations around this energy sustainability and energy transition, especially in the last 1 year. And for us students, what would you advise as some of the little steps we can start taking to be a part and to contribute effectively to the success of this sustainable energy transition? And also, where can we get the resources we need to be well informed in the end? Thank you.
Okay. So on competencies and skills, you can have different competencies that make up a skill. So for example, a negotiation skill, you would, if you want to put it in different parts, has a bit of you being able to influence people, your communication, the fact that you can think on the spot. Those are competencies. So view competencies are different components while it translates into a skill. So for another example is you can have, view it as a house. I don't know if that would help. Then for you to say the house is the skill, right? You then have the doors, the windows. Those are different competencies that can make up a skill. So it's like translating the fundamentals into how you can deploy an idea. The fundamentals is that's saying you're competent in maybe English language, but what does it translate to? It means that to a large extent, your verbal reasoning is solid, right? And also your communication skill, your negotiation skill. So a skill has different competencies in it, and they can be so flexible. On what you can do as a student, I think this is one of the platforms that you can actually leverage on. I think I got a mail on a study group. So you don't have to wait till you are employed into the industry. I would suggest that you join study groups. If you can then, via the study groups, because you already have these platforms for you. You don't have to then go ahead and create your own platform. This is an already established platform, right? You can build on it. Join, volunteer, join study groups, sell your ideas. You just never know if a company might be interested in that idea. And don't have that mindset of, because I am a student, I don't think it's sufficient enough for me to be able, or my idea is not good enough. Do you see what I mean? When you start becoming active in the SPE space, you then see the value you bring because you are influenced by other people and it becomes clearer. So I don't know if I'm able to answer your question, but don't also forget that when you meet people and you have ideas, also sell them. There's nothing wrong with that, but you also need to be very careful so that they don't steal your ideas. But I think via SPE, through those study groups, you can build on that, work on different projects that can either help companies in collaboration with companies or in collaborations with students like yourself. You can then write a paper, present these papers via SPE. You might say, oh, I am a student and I do not really have a lot to put on the table. That's not true. You do have a lot. So these are different avenues for you to, as a student, still contribute to the energy industry. I hope that answers your questions.
Justice, I hope that answers your question.
Yes. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you for that lovely answer. Please, another virtual round of applause for her for a wonderful presentation and for joining us today. Thank you very much. So I was just informed that we have our programs chair here today joining us, Madam Ngozi. I don't know if you'd like to say a word. Welcome you. Thank you for joining in to our session.
Good afternoon, Madam Angie. Thank you so much for joining us. We're so happy. And also we have Mrs. Ella Muzand, our able treasurer. Thank you so much for joining us. Please, we'd love to hear a thing or two from you guys. We're so excited to have you this afternoon. Kissy, can you hear us? Okay. Or maybe before the end of the call, we'll have them speak to us. But thank you so much, Isioma Okolo. That was a wonderful session. And then the games was fun. I had fun. I was laughing. And then I can be the village boy. Well done. Thanks for entertaining us and keep being sustainable. Thank you so much, Isioma. Over to you, Gerald.
Thank you very much, our ever energetic YP Mama Frey. Thank you so much, Isioma, as well, for that lovely presentation. So we'll just, without wasting much time, move on to our second presentation. So I'll go ahead to just introduce our speaker for our second presentation. Can you give me a moment to share my screen? Okay, please confirm you can still see my slides, please.
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. So on that note, I'd like to introduce our second speaker. So on that, I've come to respect so much. His name is Patrick Izenachi. He is a current certified renewable engineer, explorer, and an entrepreneur with background in electrical electronics and computer engineering from the prestigious Nnamdi Azikiwe University, Awka. He's an active member of the IEEE and the NSE. He's very passionate about eradicating energy poverty in Africa. As a servant leader, he collaborates with NGOs and volunteers as much as possible to help to achieve his clean energy ambition. Due to his spirit of innovative volunteerism and social impact, he has gotten global recognition as a Sustainable Development Goal Youth from SPEI. As a he for she supporter, he is currently the assistant team lead for the WLP for SPE Section 103. And he believes women have a big role to play on and off the job, thereby using diversity and inclusion to close energy access gap to achieve the SDG Goal 7 and also complement the SDG Goal 5 on gender equality. He's a Christian that loves to serve God and humanity through his work. On that note, I'd like to welcome Patrick Izenachi, invite you to come and deliver your presentation. Thank you very
everyone.
much. Yeah, we can hear you. We can hear you.
Yeah, good day, everyone. Good day, everyone. Thank you, Gerald. Please confirm that you can see me clearly. Can you see me and hear me as well?
Yes, yeah. We can see you and hear you clearly.
Okay, that's good. So I'll first start by saying thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. And also I want to appreciate Isioma for that wonderful presentation. I mean, if our YP chair could still give us room to, take this presentation one more time, like after this, because I feel she has some more ideas to share. Okay, and also for the game that she introduced us with, it's a very wonderful game because I think a whole lot of persons, they still miss the idea or the concept of sustainability. Okay, so I'm already acting sustainability. I'm already thinking it, and if you are not doing so, you're on the wrong track. Okay, it's straight to my presentation. I'll be more practical about it. I'm a practical example of all the things that she said, and just sit tight and let's do this. Gerald, please, next slide. Okay, so I have a couple of solar energy and career opportunities in the sector. Next slide, please. Next slide. So as you can see, this is me practically doing the Sustainable Development Goal 17. And as a he for she supporter, you agree with me that ladies, women in the energy industry, they have a good role to play. So look at this picture I snapped with this young lady. She is the managing director and CEO of Sulfur Energy, and she is very passionate about SDG 7. You know, she is motivating the young women in the energy industry to pursue that clean energy ambition. So ladies will be like, what role do I have to play? I think you might need to connect with this lady so that you start thinking and acting sustainably. So this is me doing the rooftop installation. And as you can see, I have this young lady also here. She is my mentee, and she hates to work at height, but I motivated her. So we did this installation somewhere in Anambra State. So ladies and women, do not be like, I don't have a role to play. You have a role to play. And I'm also going to introduce you guys to this book, How to Make Money Out of the Solar System Business. It is written by Glory Ogwebu. So you can follow her up on LinkedIn so that you will start thinking and acting sustainably. Next slide, please. Okay, so we all know about Paris agreements. We heard it from Isioma. So we have 17 SDG goals, and we are particular about SDG 7, SDG 13, and SDG 17, which is partnership for the goal. You cannot achieve this SDG 17 working alone. You need to partner with the right people, all right? The end goal is to help combat climate action because we are transitioning from the era of fossil to non-fossil. What are we trying to achieve? Energy security. We are trying to end energy poverty. So this young man who is my friend, United Nations energy intern, Caleb Adebayo, he quoted that to achieve SDG 7, we must be bold in our individual and collective commitments to transition to clean energy, phase out fossil fuels, and reduce greenhouse gas emissions. So that is us working in line with Paris Agreement and also working in line with United Nations Sustainable Development Goal 13. I'm currently in Port Harcourt. I attended this energy seminar in Lagos. It was a very hot seminar, all right? So promoting the use of renewables, okay? So that we will help combat climate action and reduce greenhouse gas. For those living in Port Harcourt, you know, I mean, we were all suffering from black suits. So what role do we have to play as young engineers? It's not just about reading books. We need to be practical about it. We need to make that bold move. All right. So look at me. I got the opportunity to air my view on sustainability, and I did it with Olon. Olon is a clean energy company that partners with Shell to help close energy access gap. So the topic was, how do we bridge this skill gap to close energy access? Next slide, please. Okay, so we have people in Nigeria who are without access to grid electricity, 90 million of them to be precise. And 80% of operational energy capacity comes from off-grid diesel or petrol generator. We have 6 gigawatts of operational capacity for population of over 200 million. Wow. Electricity demand is expected to increase significantly in the net zero pathways. What are we doing? We need to be practical. So if you look at this, have a close look at this chart. Okay, so at 2020, it was at 6, like the industrial results. The green color is for industry, and the pink color is for rural households. People are underserved, all right? Go to the villages. Some people, they can't boast of, you know, steady power supply for 1 hour, all right? So, but we, the youth, will have the role to play as engineer. And if you listen carefully to what Isioma said, okay, get involved, practically get involved. That is why I am here to talk to you today, and then to let you know that 2019 I lost my job, but I have been thinking sustainably, and I've been transitioning and working in line with Paris Agreement to help close energy access gap. And sometimes I voluntarily help people just to also upscale, okay? Because the best way to achieve this energy security is for all of us to come on board, okay? Get more practical, learn, start working with people who are already in the industry. Don't just read the theoretical aspect of it, get to know the practical aspect of it. So by 2050, look at the chart, we're expected to get to 24. Okay, so industry level, we have it at 6, and rural household is going to increase because we are already working in line with the energy transitioning plan, which was rolled out the other day by the Vice President and also the United Nations rep, Damilola Ogunbui, to help close the energy access gap. Okay, so we have a role to play, and while we go down, you see more reasons why you should get involved. Next slide, please. Okay, so how does this work? Very, very simple technology. Okay, so when Isioma was talking about the game, I wanted to show you how I am living sustainably. So if you can see me clearly, I have this solar panel on my back. Okay, so I'm a practical person. So this is a new solar panel. This is a monocrystalline solar panel, if you can see me. But if you can't, I think you might have to Google it. So I'm practically experimenting this. My whole house is solar powered, and I did installation myself. They say if you want to be an expert in something, you need to own that thing. You want to know how to drive a car, you need to have a car, right? So you start driving and get that competency around it. So the energy released from the sun is known as solar energy. It is renewable. It is free. It is available. It is affordable. It is clean. Okay. And you can use it at home, in the office, and countless places, so that you will start thinking and acting sustainably. Okay. So look at this picture. This is the solar panel. Energy from the sunlight is harnessed, and the panels absorb it, and you have items like charge controller, which regulates the amount of energy which comes in direct currents. So as a practical person, I'll let you know that safety is also of key importance, because that direct current has no measurements. So you want to be a solar system installer and then you are not safety conscious, you are wrong, because that direct current, when it gets to you, it can cause you instant death. So the charge controller regulates the amount of charge that comes into the house, all right? Then the inverter converts it to AC, which we use at home to serve our energy appliances or electrical appliances. Next slide, please. There are two main types of solar PV. You have the photovoltaic, photo means lights, and you have the concentrated solar thermal power, okay? Just the sun, when absorbed, it hits a glassy item and it converts to energy. Unlike the PV, which you just need to probably connect with the components which I mentioned, just your solar panel and your charge controller, your SPE, a whole lot of safety devices that you need to use so that you would harness clean energy. Next slide, please. So what are the advantages? Numerous: renewable and sustainable. Renewable and sustainable in the sense that you cannot run short of it. Okay, reduced electricity bill. Currently, I can't remember the last time I bought units. Why? Because once there is sunlight, I already have energy. Okay, so what I do is I probably recharge my energy meter maybe with 3,000 Naira units. Then if I want to probably press my clothes, I would use the energy from the grid. All right, grid means NEPA, off-grid is solar. So why do I do that? While I do my installation, I do not design my system to carry inductive loads because they are not good. Inductive loads like iron, like gas cooker, like electric cooker, they are not so good for the system electronic wise. So low maintenance, I don't struggle to maintain the system. Once in a while, like every 6 months, every 1 year, you might want to involve the technical guys to come up and maybe clean up the panel, or maybe blow the inverter, or maybe clean up your battery. PV operates in a cloudy environment. Okay, so while we design the system, we have what you call days of autonomy. So I'm currently experimenting it in Port Harcourt. So you have rainy days, like during raining season, there could be a raining period of 3 days. And what happened during that period? If you do not design your system efficiently, you might run out of energy. Okay, but that notwithstanding, you do not need the sun to be scorchy for you to harness energy. Next slide, please. So these are some examples of solar technologies. You have, interestingly, a solar freezer. You have solar home kit system. You can send it to your granny in the village. So you have solar dryer, yes. You have air condition, solar AC, very interesting. So I've been, trying to connect with the folks who manufacture this. So I saw them in Lagos, and then they explained to me how this thing works. Because while we design systems, you have various sizes of AC, like 1 horsepower, 2.5 horsepower, 1.5 horsepower. So as a solar system person, the challenge which we usually have, which Isioma tried to address, is negotiation. How do I convince the clients that installing a solar system that will cost 2 million naira is a sustainable decision? So you need to know how to convince them. You need to be practical. You need to be technical. You need to have that competency. Okay, so what I did was to ask them for the manual of this product, and I saw how it works. And interestingly, it's something that I'm going to apply. So all these are solar technologies, which when you use, you achieve a sustainable energy. All right, next slide, please. So these are other samples. These are other examples. You have Total Energies. You saw Total, that are big into SDG 7. All right, they are particular about solar and wind. So most of their fuel stations, maybe out of the country, are solar powered. Even within here, you have them transitioning and changing their names to Total Energies. So I have various other solar system sites. You have a mini grid in the north. Yes, you have Steven Off-Grid HQ in Ogun State. You have a solar generator, very interesting technology, which I also saw the other day. So solar generator is the next big thing, because while we are trying to achieve energy security, all right, you probably still want to use a diesel generator for backup purpose in case of rainy days, in case of days of autonomy. Okay, so but when you have a solar generator, what do you need diesel generator for? You already have what's it called, sunlight, and the battery system is there to serve you till you run out of energy, and it will still be recharged. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, career prospects. So we have this Source Nigeria Energy Master Plan say that we are lacking in this departments, technically know-how. All right, that's why I'm here to encourage each and every one of us to get involved with the professionals. Lack of knowledge and technical skills are the major barrier to the dissemination and usage of renewable energy and energy efficiency in Africa. Next slide. So I will not waste time here. This is decentralized production capacity growth and decentralized. So I've explained this earlier on. We have net zero goal to achieve. we have this to achieve come 2030, and also come 2020, 2060, our president for the folks in Nigeria have assigned or rather aligned with the Paris Agreement that we are going to close our own energy access gap come 2060. But we cannot just do this by reading books, by sitting down. We need to get involved. So how do I intend to achieve this? We intend to achieve this with the use of renewable and sustainable energy. Example, utilizing mini grids in centralized areas and decentralized areas. You can use solar home systems, all right? So you also have biomass and solar PV, yeah? So these are forms of renewable energy that we intend to use to close energy access gap. Next slide. Renewable energy sector careers, technical and non-technical. What role do I have to play? Next slide, please. Okay, so for the technical folks, you can be a solar installer. Very simple. You need to learn how to work at heights. You need to be a safety person. So you have also solar system and inverter repair. For the folks in electronic units, you're already familiar with energy meter, you're already familiar with electronic devices, you know, operation and maintenance. For the folks working in the oil and gas industry, still the same thing. How do I maintain this solar system? How do I maintain this wind energy system? Okay, so you can also be a solar PV designer. You don't need to go to the field. You just need to sit back, do your energy audits, do your energy load profiling, do your audits at home, and do the mathematics. You shift it to the installation guys and they go execute the project. Green efficiency, energy services. Okay, so this will interest you because a lot of people don't know. It starts from the house, all right? What do you know about the bulbs that you use? What do you know about the luminosity? What do you know about the electrical appliances? Do you go through the data sheets? Okay. Do you go through, do you study these components before you buy them? Is it just you go to the mall, you buy a fridge, you don't even care the size, and you are complaining that my unit is going down and all? You need to be a green energy advocate. Okay, I have my plastic here, so I also do the bio or waste to energy thing, just like Ozioma preached. So if she gave me the opportunity to participate in the game, I was going to kill it because I'm already living sustainably as a green person. My environment is all green. I have my eco-friendly, I have my trees, I have my grasses, and the air is different. So as a green energy expert or energy service person, you need to start thinking and living sustainably. Next slide. Okay, so for the non-technical folks, management and business administration, financial services, how do I make money, the plus and minus of this energy business, research and development. So I also encourage the folks who are not so technical to do the research thing. Currently, you have GIZ, which you can plug onto so that maybe you join the research and development team for hydrogen. Is also a good form of harnessing energy. Solar cells, you can be a seller, sell panels, sell batteries, sell rechargeable lamp, which is solar powered, sell the street lights. These are ways you can make money and start thinking and living sustainably. Okay, so for the folks in legal, for the folks in technical and non-technical, you can also be a legal energy economist doing the legal administrative work, and also a project manager. You know, all of this boils down to how we can close energy access gap in Africa. So it requires project management skill. Next slide. Okay, career prospects. So as that you have 12 million jobs in 2020 in the renewable energy sector. What is going to happen when we get to 2030? All right, a whole lot of opportunities, and all you just need to do is to come on board. Next slide. Okay, so solar PV is still topping the charts, 3,975. Okay, while biogas is 339. So interestingly, what we are trying to achieve is sustainability in the energy sector, because I mean, you saw what happened during between Russia and Ukraine. Energy crisis is what we are battling, okay, because of oil and gas, because of, I mean, fossil fuel, the energy that we even generate is not sustainable. So, but I mean, we are here to promote the use of renewable that will help us to achieve energy security, in the sense that when we are battling with energy crisis because of oil and gas, we can also have an alternative source of energy, which United Nations is telling you that is even more sustainable. Okay, so but we are not saying that oil and gas will be phased out completely. What we are trying to achieve at the end of the day is the security. Okay, next slide, please.
Sorry to cut in there. You have about 2 minutes more, so please, you have to start to know.
That's fine. Next slide. Okay, so these are good reasons to consider solar energy. So solar sector offers positions in different fields. The solar career is the perfect path for those in dying industry. I mean, I wouldn't say oil and gas particularly, but just come on board and understand why you should start thinking sustainably. Growth in solar energy field is practically exponential, is growing. You contribute to improving the environment. Next slide. Okay, positioning and penetrating in the RE sector, build capacity, upscale, research and learn, be an innovative thinker and a problem solver. Next slide. So how does this work? Very simple, I've explained it. 6:30 in the morning, you have your sunlight, you have your solar panel, you have your charge controller, all set, harnessing your energy, you have your inverter system and your battery system, which stores the energy, and you are good to go. Next slide. Thank you, my young professionals and everyone that's listening. Start thinking sustainably. Let's be more practical about it, and let us go green. Thank you. And I appreciate if you drop your questions for more clarification.
Oh, wow. Can we give a virtual round of applause for our sustainable energy guru, Patrick, for that very, very wonderful presentation. On a lighter note, I think I would like to thank you for not participating in this mass game, because with all these things you showed us during the presentation, you would have won that competition hands down. So thank you very much. That was a very practical presentation, and you're able to demonstrate some of the everyday applications of sustainable energy around us, and how we can get involved as a male and female engineers in this sector. So thank you very much for that very lovely presentation. I don't know if we have any questions. I believe it was quite simple and straightforward, but if there are questions, please indicate by raise of hand, and I'll just call you out to ask your question, and Patrick will give his answers. So I can see 2 hands raised. I'll start with the first, that is Daniel. So Daniel, please, can you unmute and quickly ask your question? Hello, Daniel, are you with us? Okay, so we don't waste time. Okay.
Sorry, I was trying to unmute, but then I don't know. So, honestly, I must confess, Mr. Patrick, and all our speakers for today, they are really practical about the topic and all the rest. Thank you very much for this lecture. So, I have 2 questions or so. So, you said something about the Paris Agreement Yeah, please, I would love you to briefly explain the Paris Agreement, what has been the journey so far, and so far towards development. That's one question. The second one is, you said something on getting involved. So I would love you to also stress out some point on how to get involved, not just we have to get involved and all the rest. There's one more question, it's just skipping my mind. So please, once it just come, I will ask it. So that's the two question for okay. Yes, the question is, you said something about is it generator? Is it what did you say? So you said something about energy. Is it
solar generator?
yes, thank you very much. So sir, I know this sustainability is a gradual process. So what now becomes of a pure petroleum engineer? Because we produce we crack hydrocarbons into different fractions, into petrol, kerosene, and all the rest. So once this is actualized, what is now the standpoint of a typical pure petroleum engineer, sir? I don't know if you get my point, sir.
Yes, I do.
Thank you very
So
much.
first of all, I'll start by answering your question about Paris agreements. The long and short of the story is that we've been given this mandate, or rather it's just for us to work in line with the Paris agreement to live below that 2.0 degrees Celsius. That's the target is 1.5 degrees industrial level. Okay, so thereby preventing oil and gas industries from burning fossil fuel and affecting the environment. So to achieve that, the SDG number is 13, which is climate action. Okay, so we have 17 SDG goals given out by United Nations. So to achieve this, we are pursuing SDG 7, which is harnessing clean energy, which is affordable, which is sustainable, which is clean and more reliable. Okay, then about the solar iron, which I saw someone say something about solar electric iron. Yes, so it also exists, but they're still designing it. And if we have such appliances, I mean, our electricity would be stable, like our energy would be stable, okay, because we are still trying to achieve energy security by combining the grid and the off-grid. So when we have electronic technologies that are solar powered, I think we would be able to go off-grid and achieve net zero goal come 2030 and also 2020, 2060, according to Nigeria GIZ is a German company that's big into renewables. So the idea is not for us to completely stop using our oil and gas. Okay, gas is still there. Nigeria, according to the gas plan, we have gas in abundance. Okay, so what we encourage young professionals to do, what I mean when I say get involved is you can be a research student, okay? You can research and profile innovative ways to harness or to, do the oil and gas work. We can do this by, developing or designing low carbon technologies. Low carbon technologies in the sense that when you are using it, they do not affect the environment. They do not produce flare or gas that actually shoots off that 1.5 degrees, which United Nations have mandated us. Okay, so if you see most of the companies, oil and gas companies, they've stopped flaring, and they're also retrofitting, trying to utilize low carbon technologies. Okay, so you as a petroleum engineer, you are still encouraged to get involved, think, research, be a problem solver, profile innovative solutions that would help achieve net zero goal, reduce greenhouse gas, and promote the use of clean energy. Yes, I don't know if I've answered your question.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Patrick. I believe you answered his question. His hand is no longer raised. So we also have Rokib. So Rokib, please, if you have a question, please go ahead and ask your question.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. My utmost gratitude and appreciation to our speakers for this educative and wonderful session. So I actually have one question and two comments to make. So I'd like to quickly make the comment or the contribution before asking the question. So firstly, concerning what our first speaker told us about the soft skills, stuff like that, and what engineer Patrick told us. So I don't want to make a quick contribution. There's a research institute in my university, Futmina, that's artificial intelligence for clean energy. So they offer a kind of an online course on this solar relation to clean energy, which I offered the course at the beginning of this month. So this course is say a lot of things about the solar energy, the basic in such a way that even if a novice person can apply for this course, is going to understand almost everything in solar energy. So I will drop the link to that for the short course into the group chat. That's the first one. And according to what Mrs. Isioma Okolo said about the soft skills, stuff like that. So currently, I'm also taking an online course which is being sponsored by NBC, Nigerian Bottling Company, Coca-Cola, and IBM. So these soft skills is based on communication skills, CV writing, cover letter, how to ace the interview, networking skills, self-discovery, time management, professional development tips, financial literacy, business, stuff like that. So it's very complex and loaded soft skill in which it will be very productive for any kind of professional or student like me to also enroll for that. So I will send the link for these two shortcuts into the group for the Introduction to Clean Energy by AI4C, Introduction to Clean Energy link, and that of soft skill being sponsored by NBC, Coca-Cola, and IBM. I'm going to send the link into the group. So that's my first contribution. So my question is directed to Engineer Patrick concerning what you just told us about the GIZ research on solar. How, for those that are interested, how can we join the research? Thank you.
Okay, so you just have to check online their website and you connect to them. They roll out good trainings occasionally, and I think it's something you should take advantage of fast. Yes, just their websites, www.giz. I have the exact address. I could sit and share with you guys. Yes. Oh.
Okay, Patrick, you were breaking a bit at the end, but I hope Rokib was able to get the things you said. Thank you, Rokib, for your contributions as well. So I could see another hand raised. I think that was from Guchuku. Yes. Okay, Guchuku, please, you can go ahead to ask your question.
All right. Thank you. Thank you very much. Can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Patrick, for this wonderful presentation. And I want to ask a question, and it will come from policy direction because that's usually my field. And considering that Nigeria, our main FDI, that is foreign direct investment, comes from oil and gas. And in general, Africa, our greenhouse emission is under 5%, to be precise, 3.8. USA is 6.6%, while China is 27%. If you are to advise the federal government of Nigeria and on policy and priority, what will you advise them to promote energy transition or to promote an energy by fossil fuel consumption? Thank you.
Hello, Patrick,
Hello?
are you with us?
Mr. Patrick. Okay.
Hello, Patrick. I think we have lost him.
Okay. Okay. And
Him.
if we have lost him, and I want the first speaker to give me her opinion about this also.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, ma. Yes, ma. Yeah.
Okay, so let me just ensure that I fully understand your question. You want us to talk about or to emphasize the need for a policy, or what would the government, or
Yeah,
what recommendation we make to the government on either to continue with fossil fuel or to the part of renewable energies? Is that what your question is about? Just to reconfirm.
Yes. From the economic point of view, and how economical it is.
Okay. So from where we sit, Nigerians, right? We have a lot of fossil fuel reserves and resources, and gas to a large extent is also another, type of fossil fuel. So if I had the opportunity to have a conversation with the government, I would say that we need to either optimize production and ensure that, the greenhouse gases that are being emitted, we manage them properly. Because you see, the average Nigerian lives below $10. And I do understand that there's a need for that fuel diversification because, population would definitely keep increasing. But then we also need to look at affordability. We would need to leverage on the already existing resources, ensure that we optimize fully, maybe deploy compressors when we are producing so that we can re-inject these gases into the subsurface and still produce more fossil fuel. The Nigerian government has already declared this decade as a decade for gas because they are fully aware that we have a lot of gas resources. On renewable, they are quite, except we get to that point where we're able to deploy cost-effective renewable solutions to the typical African man, what he would eat first before he would then talk about wind energy. Now, this is in practical terms, right? So what I would say is less leverage on what we already have. Ensure that we're doing it right. We reduce flare. And how can we do that? I really do not have details if CCS is very affordable right now, because we would need a lot of money to be invested in CCS. But then we can ensure that flare is being reduced, so we don't emit those gases, to the atmosphere. We can then manage it from that perspective. We can also, along the line, deploy renewable solutions, but we should also ensure that it is very affordable. We already have a lot of energy access gap, right? So whatever we have on ground, of it, ensure that those solutions are very affordable. Then in the future, we can then keep making them very flexible and keep building on the different types. That is what I mean. I don't know if Patrick is back. I think he's having network issues.
Okay, I think he's still struggling with his network, so I will just have to come to the end of the question and answer session now. For the remaining questions from Favor and Bilal, you can connect with Patrick. So I would like to plead that Patrick and Isioma, you drop your contact details, maybe your LinkedIn handle, so they can reach out to you if they have questions after now. That would be much appreciated. So thank you very much once again to our two presenters for those very fantastic presentations. I'm sure we've been able to, the audience has learned quite a lot from all that has been said today. Thank you once again. So on that note, I would like to go to the next item on the agenda, which is a membership drive, which will be taken by the YP membership team lead, the person of Emanuela Agbo. Emanuela, please, if you're here, I can see you, kindly unmute and go ahead to deliver the membership drive.
Sure. Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. Quickly, I'm going to be sharing my screen. Well, I hope everyone has been having an amazing weekend and even more amazing session, ALP session. So I'll be quite brief because we are behind time. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you loud and clear.
Okay. I'll be brief because we're behind time. Quickly, I just want to, in a few minutes, encourage people that do not have up-to-date membership to update their membership. And for those people that might be on this call and are not SPE members, I want to encourage them to be SPE members and to also be active in SPE activities. So quickly, I will introduce myself. I am Emanuela Agbo, as Gerald already said. I'm a project engineer with Lenovo Nigeria Limited. I serve as the YP membership committee lead, and I'm also the YP co-chair. Before I continue, wonderful presentation, Engineer Isioma and Sustainable Guru, Patrick. I wanted to say that earlier, but I got carried away. Wonderful presentation, I enjoyed it. Okay, so as we already know, SPE is, or in case you don't know, SPE is one of the largest NGOs in the world. Basically, SPE is a way for the exploration and production community to come together and share their knowledge, experience, skills beyond the boundaries of nationality, technical discipline, or company. In SPE, you get to be part of international events like the NAIS, the OLEF, and many more. You also have access as an SPE member to online resources such as papers. You also get to be part of webinars as this now. This is a webinar where you gain insights and add to your knowledge. Please, I just want to put it out there in case you hear any funny sound. I'm in an outdoor setting. Okay, so you in SPE, there are different sections and chapters. Right now, we're in section 103, and we also have student chapters. We have chapters for Uniports, US, River State University, and the likes. Then we also have online networks where you can participate in and benefit from e-mentoring and the SPE Connect. And SPE has a way of recognizing volunteers for their selfless service to humanity by rewarding them with awards. And also you get to have your publications and benefit for grants where necessary or where they come up. Now, in SPE, we have like the student members and we also have the young professional members. So in student membership, like I said earlier, there are the student chapters. So in student chapters, you have supportive groups, and you also get to benefit from leadership opportunities. Then you have scholarships, fellowships, ALPs like you have here. Then there's the SPE Connect and the Petrol Bowl. Yeah, amazing stuff. Then for the young professionals, which I am part of, we're part of the SPE sections, and we are part of events organized by both the sections and the YP community. Then you also have the YP awards and spotlights on YPs. Then you get to be part of ALPs, where you develop your presenting skills and you support students too. Then you have the One Petrol and e-mentoring, where you become a mentor and also develop your leadership skills. Then we have SPE Cares. At the end of the day, whatever we're doing, we want to serve humanity. So there's SPE Cares, where we are part of initiatives that add values to people around us, people in our community. So in SPE, we do activities that support community development. For instance, we have the charity part of SPE, where last year they were able to reach out to some orphanages and offer both tangible support to them and also encouragements. Then, what are the benefits of being an SPE member? I've been talking about SPE. So what do you benefit from being an SPE member? Now, personally, SPE has been a constant in my professional life. I can attribute 80%, if I'm being modest, of my professional growth or my career growth to SPE. Then you also get to participate locally and internationally, that we have our local events within us in our country and in our states and our regions, and we have like international events which you can participate in. Then you also gain career visibility. So whenever you can maybe present or do whatever in SPE, you're being visible, people are seeing you, and you're sharing your gifts with your colleagues and people that will benefit from that. Then you also get benefits from mentoring, I said this earlier, and you have diverse technical learning. So finally, you get to be part of the industry and also give back to the industry. That's it from the membership drive. If you want to find out more about SPE and the industry, you can visit spe.org or .org rather, and you can also learn about ALPs and Energy for Me via the link on the screen, which I'm going to put up in the chat box. And if you want maybe any further information about SPE, you can send your mail to service@spe.org, or you can reach out to me maybe if you want to renew your membership, or you want to become an SPE member, or you want to register someone, you're encouraging someone to be part of SPE and you want them to be registered, you can reach out to me. I'm going to also drop my number in the chats. Have a wonderful afternoon, everyone. God bless you. Thank you for listening.
All right, thank you very much, Emanuela, for that very succinct presentation. Thank you very much. So quickly, we'll just move on to the next item on the agenda. So this next item is something that was recently introduced into our ALPs. We invite AYP to come and share his experiences so far, joining SPE, being a part of SPE activities, and how it has helped them grow both career-wise and both professionally and non-professionally, just like a practical part of the membership drive, just as a way of motivating our students and also our young professionals who might be on this call. So for today's testimonial, we would like to invite Obiano Sicheli. She's a field engineer at Baker Hughes, and I think she's also the, if I'm not mistaken, the WLP team lead for the YPs. She has been a very active volunteer in SPE Port Harcourt section for the past few years. So I would just like to invite her to come on and share her experiences so far, just as a way of motivating some of us, all of us here on the call. So on that note, I'd like to invite you, Jude. I don't know if you can hear me. If you can, please unmute your mic and go ahead and talk to us. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you, Gerald. Gerald, were you about to murder my name, dear? I will not forgive you.
Really sorry. I'm really sorry.
So thank you so much for joining, everyone. all the students on the call. Thank you, Isioma and Patrick, for that wonderful presentation. It's always good to learn something new or try to participate in this technical section so that you add to your knowledge base. And I know and I believe that Isioma and Patrick did justice to that. And we're going to have a lot of people living sustainably after this. Thank you, Emanuela, membership chair, for that one. And honestly, when Gerald reached out to me to do this testimonial, I was wondering what I was going to say. But I think when Emanuela started the membership drive on how you get to benefit from SPE, she has said practically everything I want to say. But just to highlight a few things, I started SPE with ALP. That's as a young professional. But before that, I was a student member. And as a student member, then in Futo, we try to volunteer as much as possible, attend technical lectures. So one of the things that actually helped me, or one of the things that has actually been driving me since being a student, is the fact that there were some technical lectures that I attended. Some ALP, that's young professionals from Port Harcourt then, who come to Futo to give us these lectures. And there were some lectures that I participated in that literally changed my life. Probably something someone said or a story someone shared. So what am I trying to say? SPE gives you access to technical knowledge. Knowledge is information. Information is power. So if you attend these sections that SPE organizes for free, the ALP team, they are doing their best to organize sections like this one that we're attending today. And if you always make yourself available, being an SPE member, taking leverage of all these free sections and equipping yourself, increasing your information base, your technical knowledge, then trust me, you will never be outdated. You will never be caught unawares, because you always know what is happening in the industry, what you're supposed to do at every point in time. You always know how to advance professionally and personally. So even as a student, I think that how SPE helped me is these technical lectures, things like this, that I got to attend. And then also, I got to meet people, not necessarily young professionals, even fellow students in other schools. I got to interact, network, and then professionals in the industry. I got to ask them questions on how they were able to evolve in the industry, what to do, because we don't know it all. And especially as students, most times we get confused as to what steps to take, the next actions to take, what course to do. Do I go for my master's or do I get a job? So those things can be a bit confusing. But when you leverage the platform that SPE has given you, you meet people that have gone through the path that you've gone through, conquer these challenges, and then they are thriving in their career. So SPE will give you the opportunity to meet with these people, and then you speak to them, you talk to them, they advise you, they mentor you, and then you move ahead, right? So that's one of the things SPE has done for me over the years. And I think lastly, it's just to build my communication skills. It's something that I like to highlight. SPE has actually helped me to be bolder, something like that, yes, to be more outspoken, because I used to be that very quiet girl, but then I remember my mentor, Mr. Pringle, would give me ALPs then after I finished school, and he give me ALPs to go and do, and I'll be like, so how am I supposed to face these people and all that? And then I did it once, did it twice, and I've been doing it over and over again. And today, I mean, I can speak to any crowd, right? So SPE is going to help you to build your communication skills, your presentation skills, take advantage of that, use that opportunity so that because you never can tell. I mean, most of my interviews, I get to make presentations, and it's through those presentations that I'm actually seen and I'm visible, right? So if I did not get to be an SPE member and take advantage of that, those ALPs, then I mean, I might not be as good as I am. So SPE is actually an organization to be in. It's an organization to be in. And I'm very proud to be an SPE member. At work, everywhere, everybody knows me as an SPE member. I'm happy I got my manager to be signed up as an SPE member just 2 weeks ago. So I'm really excited to be an SPE member. I don't actually shy away from telling everybody anywhere I am, I am an SPE member, right? So if I enjoy being an SPE member, that tells you that there are a lot of benefits that you should open your eyes to see around you. So contact Emanuela, the membership chair. If you're not registered, register your friends, register your colleagues, register your friends in school. Tell them, for students, it's free. Tell them it's free. They don't have to do anything, and they have to get registered. And it doesn't matter the department you're in, as long as you are interested in the energy industry, not just oil and gas. We are talking about sustainability now. So any kind of renewable energy, if you're interested, join SPE. So that's all I have to say. Thank you so much for listening, and have a great day ahead.
Thank you very much for that excellent presentation. Viju, very practical example of how SPE contributes to personal and professional lives. Thank you very much for your time and also for sharing your experience with us. So on that note, we are gradually coming to the end of this wonderful ALP session. I'd like to thank each and every one of us still present here on this call. It has been quite a long period. We have overshot our planned time, although for good reason, as I believe we've all learned quite a lot today. I'd like to thank everyone still present for being with us up to this time, and for all those who joined and who might have left for one reason or the other. Thank you very much for attending today's ALP. Also, thank you to everyone who played a role in today's session, from our YP Mama of Ray to our ALP Mama Iwari, to our speakers, Isioma and Patrick, to our membership team lead, Emanuela, to our very active volunteer, Uju, and also to our section directors, section officers who were present here, Madam Gozi and Madam Ella. Thank you very much for joining in. And we do hope to see you in our subsequent ALP sessions. We'll have 2 more wonderful sessions like this we have already planned and will bring up next month, that is in the month of October. So please watch out. We'll be starting publicity on those very soon. So on that note, I would just like to indulge you all to turn on your cameras so we can just quickly take a picture, and then we go ahead to wrap up for today. So I'd like Simeon to please coordinate that. I don't know if Simeon is hearing me. Please help us out with the pictures. So I'd like you all to go ahead and just on your camera so we can see your lovely faces.
Yeah, I can hear you. If you can just stop sharing for a while.
Okay, let me do that now. I want to see your faces. I can see Favor, I can see Mama Frey, I can see Patrick, I can see Justice, I can see Isioma.
You see my
solar panel. Yeah, very, very well. You wanted to use it to cheat in this competition, but we could not allow that. We don't promote cheating in SPE. Thank you very much. I can see Okiv, I can see Chidima. I think the rest are shy, so just take pictures with the faces we can see.
Okay. Yeah. I think we are
good. I can see
good.
Precious too.
Okay.
Okay, are we good, Simeon?
Yeah. Yes, we are good.
Okay, thank you very much. So I would like to invite Emmanuel Obodo to please help us take the closing prayer we started this session with a prayer, so it will be right we end with a prayer. So Emmanuel, if you're on the call, okay, I don't think I can see him. So I'd just like to call on any volunteer who would like to just say a word of prayer for us to close this session. The floor is open. Anyone who would like to volunteer? Uju and Emmanuel just talked about volunteering, so you can, of course, start from here. There is no Christian or Muslim here.
Yeah, I'll take it.
Okay, Daniel, thank you very much. Thank you. Please go ahead.
Our Heavenly Father, we thank you for today's section. Thank you for our wonderful speakers. We thank you for making our speakers to enroll sustainable energy. Lord.
Even though we could not hear you, we say amen to all your prayers. Thank you very much, Daniel, for volunteering to take that closing prayer. So on that note, we have